Have you ever experienced a moment so brutal that it felt like your entire reality had collapsed around you? Maybe it was a sudden betrayal by someone you trusted with your deepest vulnerabilities. Maybe it was the loss of a career you spent years building, or a business that failed spectacularly. Maybe you lost a loved one, a guiding purpose, or simply looked in the mirror and realized you had become a stranger to yourself, hollowed out by fear and compromise. When this happens, you feel destroyed. Despair doesn't just knock on your door, it builds a house inside your chest. Your mind becomes a prison of noise, replaying your mistakes, screaming at the injustice, or simply numbing itself into a cold, empty static. You feel powerless. Most people believe that when you are destroyed, you should sit and wait for someone to save you. They believe that time alone will heal the wound, or that if they scream loudly enough, the world will fix their pain. Modern psychology and ancient wisdom tell us a far colder, far more powerful truth. Nobody is coming to save you. Your old self is dead. It is gone, turned to ash. Trying to glue the old pieces back together is a complete waste of your remaining life force. It will always be weak, and it will break in the exact same spot next time. The most powerful man in the ancient world, Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, understood this exact state of personal destruction. He didn't live a comfortable life of safety. He faced massive plagues, disloyal generals, treacherous politicians, constant wars, and profound personal loss, including the death of 8 of his children. He wrote his famous private journal, Meditations, not to lecture others, but to keep himself from completely collapsing under the weight of his own reality. He knew that destruction is not the end. It is a rare psychological invitation. It is the moment when you are stripped bare of your illusions and finally given the material to build an unshakable, formidable inner core. His words give us a brutal, precise blueprint. You are composed of a body and a soul. Your body is a fragile thing. Your soul must become a citadel. Do not let external noise penetrate the walls of your command center. If you want to stop feeling like a victim amidst the ruins, if you want to rebuild yourself into something formidable, quiet, and untouchable, you must execute the 8 rules of Stoic reconstruction. Pay extreme attention to rule number 5, because if you leak your energy there, you will never rise from the ashes. Let us begin. Let us look at the most dangerous mental habit. When you are destroyed, you spend 90% of your time looking backward. You say, if only I had done this differently, if that person hadn't lied, if that event hadn't happened, I would still be happy. In psychology, this is called rumination, and it is poison. It keeps your mind trapped in a painful, dead past. Your ego is fighting a battle that it already lost 6 months ago. The first, coldest rule of rebuilding is total ash acceptance. You must stand amidst the ruins of your life, look at the dust, and accept reality with absolute dry indifference. Do not judge it. Do not ask why it happened to you. Do not cry about the injustice. Simply say, this is my current physical reality. My old life is ash. My old relationships are over. My old success is gone. Acceptance is my new foundation. Marcus Aurelius trained himself to accept events without adding an emotional story to them. Say no more to yourself than what the initial impressions report. That is, that you have been harmed by betrayal? Yes. But that your happiness is therefore destroyed? No. Accept what has happened, and do not let judgment attach itself like ivy to the stone. Stop fighting the dead past. Let the ashes be ashes. Only when you stop trying to live in the ruins can you actually start laying the first new brick. What is the biggest source of your pain right now? Is it the event itself, or is it the noisy chaos inside your own head about the event? Someone betrayed you. That is one event. But your mind spends months replaying the conversation, feeling the anger, the embarrassment, the confusion. You let their behavior dictate your emotional state from 2,000 miles away. An emotionally untouchable person practices absolute non-reaction. This does not mean you stop feeling pain. You are human. You will feel the sting. It means that when the sting happens, you refuse to let it become an earthquake inside your mind. 1, 2, 3. You acknowledge the feeling of loss or anger, and you choose not to react to it. You do not explain it. You do not share it on social media. You do not complain about it. You become a psychological stone wall that their action bounces off of without causing a vibration. The Stoic master Epictetus taught his students the supreme lever of mental control. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the views which they take of things. If you choose not to be harmed, you are not harmed. Take control of your commanded center, and nothing can shake its composure. Next time you feel a trigger of despair, anchor yourself in stillness. Become the neutral observer of your own pain. Realize that your non-reaction is a terrifying broadcast of your internal sovereign power. How do you try to feel powerful when you are destroyed? You start announcing your comeback to everyone around you. You write long statuses about how strong you are, how you are going to show everyone, how you are focused on yourself. This is a complete broadcast of insecurity. When you feel weak inside, you beg outside sources to tell you that you look strong. To rebuild unshakable value, you must master silent private discipline. Withdraw your plans from the noisy crowd. Stop asking for permission to survive. Rebuild yourself behind closed doors. Make time for deep solitude, focused physical training, reading heavy philosophy, mastering difficult work skills, and organizing your private thoughts. You don't need to yell about your strength. Build real skill, real wealth, real character, and let your presence speak for you. Seneca gave this potent advice on where true value is built. Retire into yourself as much as possible. Associate with those who are likely to improve you. Your worth is determined by your actions in the dark, not the head nods of the insecure public. Stop looking for applause from strangers. Spend your energy laying bricks in silence. The public will only know about the empire when it is already built high above their heads. Despair is dynamic exhaustion. It makes you feel like you have thousands of insurmountable problems that you can never fix. It is a state of psychological overload, and it leads to paralysis. You sit on the couch for weeks, doing nothing, watching the dust settle. When you are destroyed, you must execute the immediate duty protocol. Forget about your 5-year goal. Forget about how to fix your entire financial or relationship structure. Look at the smallest, most immediate thing that you must do in the next 5 minutes. It might be making your bed, cleaning your room, making a healthy meal, going for a 2-minute walk. Writing down your 3 priority tasks for today. By focusing on one single, tiny, manageable duty and executing it with military precision, you break the paralysis. You prove to your brain that you still possess agency and that you still hold small commands in this reality. Marcus Aurelius concluded every day with this simple rule of focused presence. Let no man know your pain but yourself. Do not complain to outside sources. Just do the next right thing with complete focus and let the rest fall as it may. Stop staring at the whole broken map. Look at your feet. Take the first, smallest step with absolute discipline. Control the 1 inch of ground you stand upon. Pay extreme attention to this shift. This is the difference between a victim and a survivor. When life destroys you, it is incredibly painful. You feel anger, betrayal, confusion, and loss. Most people use this pain as an excuse to remain helpless. They say, "I can't start a new goal because I am too depressed," or "I can't trust again because I was hurt too deeply." They let the pain eat them alive. An unshakable mind does something different. They accept the pain as a gift. They treat suffering as raw, potent. And pure psychological fuel, take all that raw anger, all that dynamic energy of loss, and channel it directly into your own growth. Work out harder, work extra hours, study longer, wake up earlier, using the pain as the internal nuclear reactor that powers your relentless action. Marcus Aurelius wrote this ultimate rule of resilience: the mind converts to its own purpose the obstacle to our acting. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Stop trying to avoid the pain. Embrace it as the dark fuel that will lift you to heights your old self could never reach. Let your suffering build the unshakable foundation of your private citadel. Listen to the voice inside your head when you are trying to rebuild. Does it ever say things like, "I used to be so confident, what happened?" Or "Remember how popular I was before the loss?" Or "My old relationship was so perfect." You are haunted by the ghost of who you used to be. You are trying to be that old person again. This is a deadly mistake. The you that got destroyed was weak in some critical area. It trusted the wrong person, lacked boundaries, was naive about business, or lacked emotional control. Stop trying to resurrect that old self. They are gone. Turned to ash. Hold a mental funeral today for who you were 6 months ago. Say goodbye to the weaknesses, the illusions, and the old habits. The goal is not to be that person again. The goal is to build something entirely new, entirely formidable, and entirely untouched by the noise that destroyed your past self. Seneca urged his students to embrace private change with absolute resolve. You cannot start a new chapter if you are still rereading the old one. Burn the pages. Be willing to be completely unrecognizable today. Accept the change. Let the old self vanish completely into the fog so you can stand on your own 2 feet today as a sovereign individual. How did you define your self-worth before the loss? If your worth was tied to your relationship, or your career, or people's approval, you did not possess self-worth. You possessed external validation. When that external thing got taken away, your worth went to absolute zero. That is why you feel destroyed. To rebuild a permanent, unshakable inner core, you must build your worth in absolute private solitude. Read heavy books that organize your thoughts. Push your body with relentless physical discipline. Master difficult work skills that increase your sovereign independence. Organize your thoughts in private journals. Keep the small promises you make to yourself in the morning until you build a private track record of integrity that no person on earth can take away from you. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself every morning, where true value lies, look within. Within is the fountain of good, and it will ever bubble up, if thou wilt ever dig. You cannot cheat your private self-respect. Build a life in private that you are proud of, regardless of who knows about it. Once your well is full, you stop begging the world for cheap attention. Rule 8. Stepping into unshakable private stillness, we reach the final, ultimate state of a rebuilt private sovereign mind, unshakable internal stillness. Detachment does not mean becoming cold, cruel, or unloving. It does not mean closing your heart to the world. Total detachment means enjoying people, loving people, And being kind to people, while keeping your identity completely independent of their actions, you enjoy their presence when they are here. But if they choose to leave tomorrow, your life does not fall apart. You have already accepted reality. You have built your value in silence. You have already faced your own ash. Nothing external can take your peace from you because you have already anchored it in your own disciplined stillness. You stand like the Roman marble statue amidst the chaos, untouched by the noise. Marcus Aurelius concluded his private journal with this final call to quiet power. Remember that the ruling center of your mind becomes invincible when it withdraws into itself and rests content with itself, doing nothing which it does not will to do. Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. You were destroyed so you could finally stand up as your own savior. Stop looking back at the ashes, pick up the first brick, and let your silence speak for your unshakable core. Conclusion: walk sovereign and private still the era of being broken, needy, and lost amidst the ruins is over. The days of looking back at the old self, double texting to those who walked away, and begging for validation end right here, right now, your old self has dead. It is ash. Accept reality. Pick up the immediate duty. Channel your pain into obsessive self-building. And let your boundaries speak for themselves. Let the loud public chase social head nods. Let weak minds play childish games. You stand quiet, firm, and sovereign, mastering your life with absolute private self-worth. If you are choosing to drop the need for outside approval and rebuild your core starting today, leave one simple word in the comment section below: rebuild. Walk steady. Build in silence. And let your presence speak for your quiet, absolute, formidable power.